Hi, my name is Jeanette and I want to thank you for joining me on Jane Reads. So today I thought I would do the numbers book tag. I had seen this video done by Holly at Lovely Day with Holly back in April, and then just a couple days ago I happened to see that both Book Lover Amanda and Miriam Elizabeth Reads did this video recently, and I thought, okay, I love numbers, I love stats, this would be a fun video to do. So I will link all three of their videos down in the description bar below. I know they mentioned who the original creator of this tag was, but I don't remember. But I will go back to their videos and put that in the description as well. Okay, so there are 10 questions for this tag, so I will just start. The first one is, what was your first Booktube video? So I just recently started Booktube. My first videos, I posted 2 videos on the same day, and that was on March the 24th, and they were my March TBR and my February wrap-up. So I will link them below, but it's very obvious that they're my first videos. And then question number 2 is, how many books are you currently reading? At this time, I am reading 3 books, which is very, very unusual for me. I normally will have a fiction book going and a nonfiction book going. But this time I have 3 books. So I am currently reading Lloyd Robertson, The Kind of Life It's Been by Lloyd Robertson. I am almost done this book, like very little. I will finish it today. So I am reading this one. And then I am reading A Walk Around the Block by Spike Carlson. Now this is a nonfiction book that I've had going probably since the mid-February, I think. Maybe beginning of March, I'll have to look. This is science, natural history. It's kind of talking about stuff in our communities. So I just finished a chapter on roadkill. Before that it was how sewers work, how the phone lines were created, how water gets into your house, and recycling programs, trash, that kind of stuff. So I can only read a chapter at a time of this. It gets very scientific, but also very interesting. So I have been trying, my goal is to read a chapter of this in between each book I finish. Now, that hasn't always worked because I've read a few books since I started this book, and I'm still only on chapter 10 of this one. So, yeah. So that's why, I usually have something like this going along with my fiction read that I'm reading. Then the third book I'm reading is on my Kindle. It is The Wedding Dress by Rachel Hawke. Because I was reading this one in physical, I really wanted something on my Kindle because there was a couple nights last week I just wanted to lie down in bed and read, and I need my Kindle for that. So I started the third book. Now, that's very rare for me. I usually have one good book and then kind of another one. But I am currently reading 3 books. So question number 3 is, what were the top 3 books you read last year? So I went through my books and it was really hard to narrow down to only 3 books. I had 15 books in my top, that I rated 5 stars last year. So the ones I'm going to mention are Aftermath by Terry Blackstock. So I just talked about this book in my favorite suspense authors video that went up a couple weeks ago. So I will again link that one below. So I'm not going to really go on to that book. Then book number 2 is The Fifth Avenue Stories Society by Rachel Hawke. I read this in the summer of last year and I absolutely loved this book. It is on my list to reread again because I don't feel like I gave it enough or kind of reviewed it enough. And it sticks in my mind that I really, really enjoyed it. So it's basically 5 characters that don't really have a connection at the beginning, and then they all get this mysterious invite to a library to join this story society. and nobody really knows where this invite came from. They show up and they're the only ones there. And they start, and they're from such different backgrounds that it's like, how do we connect? But they connect, they stick it out and try to figure out where did this invite come from in the first place. And then they start learning about each other, and they start really helping each other. And they connect in a way that is not expected. So I really enjoyed that book. Then the third one is I Can Only Imagine by Bart Millard. So this is a memoir by Bart. He is the lead singer of Mercy Me. And I'd heard his story. I have seen the movie. But reading the book, it was like, wow. Like the strength of character and determination he had and what he dealt with growing up. Like it's just, his story is amazing. So then question number 4 is, how many books did you read last year? I read 75 books last year. Question number 5 is, how many books have you rated 5 stars so far this year? So I have rated 9 books as 5 stars this year. So the first 2 were Holiday Home and Holiday Love by Shanna Hatfield. These were books 3 and 4 of her Holiday Express series. They are historical fiction. And I was hooked. I love Shanna Hatfield's writing. And these ones kind of this series follows a family generation. So the 4th book is contemporary, whereas book number 3 and before are all historical settings. It was really interesting, and I really enjoyed them. Then the next book was Acceptable Risk by Lynette Eason. This one is one that I reviewed near the very beginning of my channel. So I will link that video below. Then number 4 is Lethal Cover Up by Darlene L. Turner. This one, again, I read in February, so it is in my February wrap-up. Then Providence by Carla Lorando. This one is in my April wrap-up. And then next 2 are Too Close to Home and Don't Look Back by Lynette Eason, which are also in my April wrap-up. Then I read 2 this month. No Ocean Too Wide by Carrie Ternesky. Now this was a reread for me, but I enjoyed it as much the second time as I did the first time. And then the last book is Reconstructing Natalie by Laura Jensen Walker. Again, I really, really enjoyed this book, and both these books, these last 2 books, I will be talking about in my May wrap-up. So kind of look for that coming in the next few days. So then question number 6 is, do you have a reading target for this year, and are you on track? So my goal for this year is 75. I just set it to what I had read last year. As of right now, I have read 38 books, and Goodreads tells me that I am 12 books ahead. So yes, I am on track. I actually expect to probably surpass the 75 from last year, but I wasn't sure how my year would go, so I didn't want to kind of overshoot it. I just put it where I was. Then question number 7 is, how many pages long is the book you are reading right now? So this Lloyd Robertson book that I am reading is 340 pages. And this Walk Around the Block book, I think is just under, is 302 books. 302 pages. I do not know, but the Wedding Dress is the other book I'm reading, and it's on my Kindle, so I'm not sure. I think it's probably around the 300, 350 mark, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Question number 8 is, how long are your videos? So currently my videos have been averaging between 15 to 20 minutes. There are some that have been longer, especially the wrap-up videos. I tend to kind of ramble a little bit, maybe. Or I've read a lot of books and I need to get them all in one video, and maybe I should split the videos up. I don't know. So right now I'm averaging around 15 to 20. Number 9 is, do you have a favorite number? Yes, my favorite number is 28. My birthday is on the 28th of the month. So, and I always kind of said I was going to stay 28 forever. None of this holding at 29. I was going to hold at 28. So for quite a few years after my 28th birthday, it was, so how old are you today? I'm 28 for the 8th time. I'm 28 for the 9th time. I'm 28 for the 10th time. And then it was kind of like, okay, how many times can I turn 28? So yes, 28 is my number. And the last question, number 10, is do you have a book on your shelves with a number in the title or on the cover? So I have 4 books with numbers on my shelf that I can think of for sure. So I have 2 that are on my TBR shelf. And they are Fahrenheit 451 and 1984. So they're both classics with numbers. Then on my red shelf, I have 2. So I have The Two of Us by Victoria Bilin. This one is a romance, contemporary romance. And it is following kind of a male and female, like a guy and girl character, who randomly meet at a friend's wedding or a family member's wedding. And it just goes on about they have different feelings about this wedding that they're going to, and they start talking, and they just connect in a way that was unexpected. So I really enjoyed this book, and I'm really hoping to reread it, hopefully within the next year. We'll see. Then the other book I've talked about before, again, I talked about this one in my favorite suspense authors. It is One Final Breath by Lynn H. Blackburn. So I won't really, it's a suspense mystery. So that's all I'll say because I have already talked about it. So those are all the questions. I want to thank you for joining me today, and this was just a fun random video. Have a good day. Bye.